This is Daryl Evans with Kings Vision at LAKings.com with Kings insider John Rosen. Well, John, today Game 1 of the Stanley Cup 2013 playoffs should be an exciting one. A familiar opponent for the Los Angeles Kings, the St. Louis Blues, a team that the Kings met last year in the second round. The Kings swept them and have now won 8 straight against the Blues. This time here, when they come around, the Blues are going to have home ice advantage. How important is the first game?
I think the first game, and not just the first game, but the first goal, and then maybe the second goal, are going to be some of the more pivotal moments of this series. Obviously, much has been made about the LA Kings between the middle of mid-regular season and the playoffs last year into this season, winning 8 consecutive games against the Blues. Speaking with both locker rooms, I'm not sure how relevant that is right now, especially when you look at St. Louis's retooled defense. But there is that winning streak. If LA can go out, get that first goal of the game, maybe even build up a 2-goal lead, I think that would work wonders, at least for the confidence of the LA Kings, which already should be high, and maybe getting the St. Louis Blues thinking just a little bit.
I think when you look at St. Louis, they're a team that's looking back into last year, they reflect on maybe they got pushed around a little bit, and they don't want to allow the Los Angeles Kings to be able to do that this year. They don't want the Kings to feel comfortable, so it anticipated to be a physical game to start. I think specialty teams are going to become a big factor, and the Kings' power play very consistent through the course of the year, 19.9%. Although not having scored a power play goal in the last 3 games, I think that's an area that they really have to focus on, and this is a spot where I think Anze Kopitar, in particular in the playoffs, has to jump forward. He didn't score a power play goal all year. Specialty teams should be a factor.
Yeah, specialty teams should be big. LA's power play really was working quite fast at the end of the year. Even though that they didn't extend that goal streak at the end of the season, you saw them score goals, power play goals in 8 consecutive games late in the season. I still really like the way that the power play looked at the end of the year, moving the puck with a purpose, moving without the puck, lots of really good, shifty, quick movements out there. But also talking to Ken Hitchcock when he just had his press conference moments ago, he also said that these are 2 excellent 5-on-5 teams. You bring up Anze Kopitar, Jeff Carter. These are players that protect the puck well. These are players obviously with a lot of skill. 5-on-5, they're going to be looking to be able to provide some goals against some of the other teams' top lines as well. St. Louis, a team with excellent depth, though they don't quite have a player maybe the same skill level as Kopitar or Jeff Carter. They still have 4 lines that can roll deep, that can score goals. So these are 2 clubs that are actually probably stronger, at least the Kings certainly are, than they were offensively from a year ago.
I think when you look at the adjustments that the St. Louis Blues made, they're a different team than last time the Kings played them. Back on defense, they got Jordan Leopold, Bouwmeester back there. These are 2 guys that really add to a lot of different areas in their defense. First of all, defensively, it also allows the Blues to be able to move the puck out of their own zone, get it to their forwards. And Ken Hitchcock reflected on how little time they spend in their own zone this last month. They only give up 16 goals against. Elliott's playing at the top of his game. So this is where I think the Kings have to really drive their 4 lines, provide that physical play that they did and involve their defense in on the attack.
Absolutely. Again, 2 similar teams in the sense that they like to be aggressive, they like to push the play, get the puck from the defenseman up to the forwards quickly. You look at St. Louis, again, the different looks that they've had with Bouwmeester, Leopold joining this team. As we know, as we learned from Daryl Sutter earlier in the year, save percentage, really kind of a team statistic. It determines, how well the defense is also playing in front of the goaltender. You look at both teams have seen their save percentage, overall team save percentages rise over the course of the season. And since the additions of Bouwmeester and Leopold for the St. Louis Blues, Brian Elliott has really had a terrific late second half of the season, and he's playing his best hockey of the year entering the playoffs.
And the St. Louis Blues, when scoring the first goal against the Kings, the last 13 times that they've done that, the record is 10-2-1. I think that's something that they're going to strive for early on. They're going to have the benefit of having the hometown fans here behind them. But the Kings are the defending Stanley Cup champions. If the Kings come out, show that swagger that they had last year, get into the heads of the St. Louis Blues, I think the Kings will take charge here early on.
One of the most important goals that was scored in the playoffs last season was the response by Slava Voinov in Game 1 of the Kings-Blues series in the second round. St. Louis was fantastic early in that Game 1. You remember Jonathan Quick robbing Andy McDonald early. You also remember Alex Pietrangelo scoring an early goal to put St. Louis up 1-0. Really all St. Louis for the first 10 minutes. Dustin Penner in the corner, had a little bit of space, found a pinching Slava Voinov, snapped a one-timer past Brian Elliott. LA Kings able to really weathered that storm, ride out the period, took a late lead in the second period, ended up sweeping the St. Louis Blues. That was a big goal by Slava Voinov.
It sure was, and tonight should be a great game. John, I want to thank you for your time, and we'll catch up, and we'll see how Game 1 plays out in the next couple days.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Daryl.
This is Daryl Evans with Kings Vision at LAKings.com. Kings taking on the Blues, Game 1 of the 2013 playoffs.